Welcome to the Ask April Porter podcast, where franchisee performance meets real-world business strategy. I'm April Porter, attorney, former judge and multi-unit franchisee, and the authority on franchisee performance. Each week, I share actionable insights, proven strategies, and inspiring conversations with top entrepreneurs and franchise leaders, all to help you grow your franchise or small business to achieve what I call swag: sanity, wealth, and gratitude. Success without sacrifice. To claim your swag, apply these hard-earned lessons from seasoned entrepreneurs. We're going to do that now. Let's dive in. So if you're a listener of the show, you know that I make my way around to a lot of franchise conferences throughout the year. And in October, I was in Philly for the very first time at the Springboard Conference and happened to sit down at a table with Jessica and Damien and learned all about their Oakwell Beer Spa, which I can't wait for them to share information about that with all of you. Welcome, Jessica and Damien. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, April. We're excited.
So, okay, Oakwell Beer Spa, the name itself creates so much curiosity. I mean, is this a tap room? Is it a spa? What is it? Tell us first exactly what it is.
So we have to start off by saying you don't actually bathe in beer. That is the number one question that we get. There is not a tub full of PBR or Coors. However, we are a social wellness experience that combines a day spa and a craft beer and wine tap room into one. So one side of the spa is our tap room. We use a self-pour system where guests can sample all these delicious local craft beers, wines, non-alcoholic beverages. And then on the day spa side, we have 4 private spa suites. Inside your private spa suite, there's an infrared sauna, a rain shower, and then a hydrotherapy tub that's infused with hops, malt, and herbs. So hops and malt have been used for centuries. And holistic medicine, hops is a natural sedative. The aromatherapy helps you to relax. If you've ever drank a hoppy beer and gotten a little sleepy afterwards, that's because of the hops. And then barley is really similar to taking an oatmeal bath. So it's really moisturizing and nourishing for your skin. And then we have different herbs that we add into the bath as well, but there's no yeast. It's not fermented. You don't want to drink the tub. Doesn't feel like you just poured a beer over yourself. But of course, you can bring your beverages with you from the tap room into your private spa suite. So you have 90 minutes in your spa suite. It's really yours to make of it as you wish, jumping back and forth between the shower, tub, and sauna. If you need to refill your beverage while you're in there, we have a room service button. You just ring the doorbell. One of our beer therapists will come grab your tumbler and refill your drink for you. And then at the end of your 90-minute session, we have high-tech robotics-enabled zero-gravity massage chairs. So that's in a separate room in our massage lounge. You can do a 15, 30, or 60-minute session. And then afterwards, you go back to the tap room and hang out and socialize for as long as you would like.
Okay, so one, amazing. And this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because when I heard about this concept, I was just like, yes, why this makes so much sense, right? Like, I know so many people, my husband and I included, who are always like looking for something to do, right? And usually it involves drinks. So this is fantastic. Okay, so one thing you said really made my ears perk up, and we'll get into all the details, but beer therapist. You said
Yes.
beer therapist. Can you explain what is a beer therapist?
Yes. So that is their legal job title. I think it's the coolest job in the world. I mean, come on, beer therapist. So they're essentially our guest service representatives, right? So our beer therapists are the ones that greet you when you come in through the front door. They check your ID. They go over the services with you. All of our beer therapists are extremely knowledgeable in our beverage selection. So they walk you through a curated sampling and tasting at the tap wall, asking you what you like to drink, explaining about the different local breweries that we have on tap. Then our beer therapists walk you through the beer bath infusions that you have to choose from that will get infused into your beer bath. And then they're the ones that bring you to your room, explain how all of the amenities work. If you need any help, and press that room service button, need refilled drinks, need extra towels, anything like that, The beer therapists are the ones to help you, and really just making sure that you have a five-star hospitality experience throughout your entire time at Oakwell.
That's that's brilliant, and I love it because it sounds like it is low employees. That you don't need a ton of employees to create a really memorable and magical experience for your customers.
Exactly. So that was the big thing. We were coming up with business ideas. We had landed on, we want to do something in hospitality. We want to do something in wellness. But as we talked to a lot of spa owners, one of the big pain points was dealing with massage therapists and estheticians. They're really hard to find, really hard to retain. And if they call out sick, you're having to cancel their entire appointment book for the day. So we were trying to think of how can we make a day spa that is very experiential, that's social, that is really different, but we're not relying on licensed therapists or licensed professionals that we can recruit from the hospitality industry, that we can recruit servers and bartenders and housekeepers, which are traditionally a little bit easier to find and retain. So, in addition to the overall headcount being lower, all of our services are static, which means that it's just dependent on the room, the private spa suite being available. It's not dependent on a specific therapist being available.
Yeah, this is super smart from a business owner standpoint, which is why I wanted to share it with our audience because what you've done is you've captured a lot of what we teach about, which is optimizing efficiency, making sure you can delegate. Um, Employee headaches are one of the biggest things that small business owners deal with and that slow their growth and expansion just simply because if you can't keep people and get them to produce the way that you would do things to your standards, then it's hard to move on and open the next location. Well, let's talk a little bit about where you're located. You guys are in Colorado, right?
Mhm.
Yes, that's
And you have
correct.
2 locations?
We have two
Okay, sure.
locations. So our first location's in downtown Denver in the Rhino neighborhood, which is the kind of let's call it the Brooklyn of Denver, right? So it's the
Trendy.
restaurants, breweries. And then we just opened our second location almost a year ago now in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. So it's about 40 minutes south in the suburbs. The reason for doing is that is the first location we opened 5 years ago now. So that was right after COVID. Construction costs and construction timelines were very different. We're also quite bootstrapped with that one. So Damien and I did a lot of the construction ourselves. So while we were wildly successful in terms of our occupancy and bookings, we knew that we needed to go through the process again to get more accurate construction costs and timelines if we plan to franchise this. So we went through that process again of building out a second location. And we also wanted to be in a different market. So we're in, the downtown urban core, lots of tourists that come by with our first location, but we also wanted to prove out that it works in the suburbs as well, which is why we opened the second location in Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
I do love that because I've talked about it before on the podcast, is a pet peeve of mine, while opening a one location of a business and then franchising. Sometimes things that do work in an urban area don't work in the suburbs. And it's so important that you've done the legwork as the franchisor to prove your concept because that's what people are buying is a proven model. So I do congratulate you on that because I know like you don't have a background in franchising, right?
No.
Right.
First,
No, we don't. We don't. We try to surround ourselves with people, meeting you, meeting so many people in that big world that actually is very small. But overall, we see ourselves entrepreneurs. We're entrepreneurs before anything, but we're athletes, and it's painful. You need to really go back into doing again a painful exercise to really prove to yourself that what you've created is indeed you can duplicate it, you can scale it, you can push it to the extreme and monitoring the performance, testing, rating, and that's what we've done in Denver. Hans Ranch actually is successful from the get-go. I mean, it's incredible what we were able to accomplish in Denver. We're now applying it to the in Highlands Ranch. And actually, what slowed us down in Highlands Ranch is not a process. It's actually the fact that we have a brand new team that takes the time to accomplish, understand, learn, apply, all of the big takeaways and process we have put in place for Denver. But it's good. It's good. And actually, with the second location, we were able to launch membership, which is very important nowadays in the marketplace. When you have a business model, you can definitely add some predictability to your business model. We're not about to launch a membership until then because we had that luxury to be fully committed, right? 7 days a week, all year long. We just closed for Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. So you can imagine that this comes with sets of challenges. So opening the second location has helped us to free up, add more offers into or offerings and ads membership, which has proven to be successful from day one. So again, as you say, Jess, I like what she said. She always says, "Let's go slow to then go fast." Yeah, that's we see it as a marathon for us more than anything. It hurts. You need strong legs and the mindset of being resilient, but overall, it has worked very well. So now we're extremely excited to bring this concept nationwide with a strong focus on closer states to Colorado because we still want to be hands-on at supporting our future franchisee. Arizona, Texas, Kansas, Minnesota are the first few states that we're focusing on. Those have incredible, it's very business friendly and they have as well a culture associated to wellness, well-being, bathing, beer, and all that. So it's days ahead are very exciting.
They are. They're so exciting. So you mentioned wanting to move national. Where did you guys come up with this concept? I mean, was it your concept that was just, you're sitting around drinking a good beer one day and saying, "Hey, I would also really like to be in a pool of hops right now." How did that happen?
Yeah, so our origin story is quite fun, I think. It starts in New York City, so that's where Damien and I met. We were both working corporate jobs at the time, so Damien's background is in sales and marketing. I worked in HR and operations. And so we ended up meeting in New York City, falling in love, getting married. We'd come home from our corporate jobs and brainstorm business ideas over a pint of beer, a glass of wine. We knew we wanted to open a business together, but we wanted to do something different. We didn't want to do a restaurant or a coffee shop or something that's been done a million times before. But we also didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So Damien is from France originally, and I had the pleasure of being able to travel internationally at a young age. And we knew that there was a lot of interesting concepts that exist out in the world that just maybe haven't been brought to the United States yet. So the month after getting married, we decided if we're going to do something spontaneous, now is the time to do it before we have kids and mortgage and all these other responsibilities. So we both quit our corporate jobs. We sold everything we owned, packed 2 backpacks, and headed off on an indefinite round the world backpacking trip, looking for interesting business ideas that we could bring back to the US and scale. So we ended up going to 25 countries, and about halfway in is when we found ourselves sitting in a hot tub of beer, basically, in Zakopane, Poland, in the Polish Alps. The beer spa concepts that exist in the world currently, and there's not that many, there's maybe like 15 in the entire world, but all of them are very based on this Eastern European model, which is very rustic. You have free flowing keg next to your tub, so it's more gimmicky about the drinking. People pour a pint of beer on top of their head. Every other beer spa that exists has a bed of hay that you lay in after the beer bath, which we didn't find particularly comfortable or sanitary. So we decided to exclude that. But I really liked the idea of combining wellness, hospitality, craft beer, which is something that's really big in the United States. And so we continued exploring different spa cultures around the world. We went to onsens in Japan, jjimjilbangs in South Korea, wine spas in Spain and then France, and really took the best of all of these spa experiences that we had around the world, and crafted it into what is now Oakwell Beer Spa. And what we found is around the world, there's all these social spa experiences. It's not just for the healthy, the wealthy. It's not just for a girls' day, especially in Asia and in Europe. Spas are something that families go to together. You go with big groups of people, multi-generations. They're giant facilities with different tubs and hot tubs, with a restaurant in the middle where you can have a beer and have some noodles and then go back and continue and do the tubs and the hot tubs. And you really make a day out of it. It's more of a social wellness experience. Whereas in the US, we found that the spas are really transactional here. You go, you get your massage, you get harassed for a membership, and then you leave. And you often go for a girls' day or for a date night, but you end up not really interacting that much because the environment is more silent or meditative. A lot of the amenities are gender separated. So the hot tubs and the saunas are in different areas. So you go with intending to connect with the person that you came with, but the environment's just not really set up for that. And so that's what we wanted to do with Oakwell Beer Spa is, of course, offering beer and wine, which is, everyone loves drinking a pint or a glass to help relax, but also really creating an environment that you can truly connect with the person that you came with.
So is it really geared towards couples or groups, or like what's your real target customer base?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, with this concept, we're about to break the stigma. The spa was only meant to be for a specific audience, women mainly. So we actually have 55% of women and the rest are men coming. Primarily couples, yes. So we have different package for different, I'd say, type of uh, occasion. You have our date night package. You have celebration package for friends with birthday package. We have what it's called as well beer therapy ritual. So you can come with a friend and you can take advantage of our facility by just being friend with someone else. The whole design of the space can be intimate, but in the meantime, it can be very neutral according to the package you have booked. And then we have a package called a garage party. So it's more for friends or even sisters, brothers, right? People who wants to reconnect as a group where we join two private spa suites together, almost like a junior suite in the hotel, right? And we open this fun garage door or this rolling garage door. And here you go. You've got two private spa suites together and there's three people in one side, three people on the other side and are able to take advantage of the amenities and relax and reconnect together. Often, I must say, it is a life celebration, birthday, anniversary, promotion with a new job, or graduation for PhD, or whatever you've accomplished in life. And then now with the members, actually, it's not anymore a one time or two times or three times a year. It's actually a recurring routine that we're able to offer to our guests who really believe in spending quality time with their significant other or their best friends once a month in a private spa suite where they can reconnect and drink a non-alcoholic beer. Often people think, oh my gosh, but what if I don't drink? Well, actually, wait a minute. You do not need to drink to experience this. And this has pleased a lot of our guests because often wellness and well-being, it's about reset. It's about taking the time for yourself. If you drink, good. If you don't drink, good. Not a problem.
So is it a maximum of 3 people per room then?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So each private spa suite can accommodate up to 3 people, but 90% of our guests are coming as couples.
Yeah, I would figure so. Something else that you mentioned is that you're using local craft beer in the lineup of the tabs. Do you envision that to be the case for your franchisees too, that they'll be able to bring in local craft beers to their location?
Correct. So it's really important for us that each location is able to build relationships and support their local community by having a curated lineup of the best beer, wine, cider that their specific state has to offer. So we have some guidelines as far as the alcohol content, right? We don't want something that's 9% ABV that people are drinking and then going into a hot tub or sauna. We also require that there is a broad range of beers, right? We don't want just 5 sours on tap, as much as I would love that because I love sours. We want something light, something fruity, something hoppy, something dark, etc. So we provide guidelines as far as what the lineup should look like. But then we encourage the franchisees to build those relationships with local breweries. So whenever you're going to an Oakwell, you get to see what the local state has to offer.
You know, from a franchisee perspective, and a brand new first time business owner may not realize the power that this has, but as a former franchisee, what I know will happen because of this seemingly small decision you made is that the local customers will walk in, they'll see their local beers, and they will assume that it is not a franchise. They will
Exactly.
assume that the local owner came up with this concept and opened it all on their own. And that may seem like, well, who cares one way or another? But there is a certain sector of our communities that sometimes don't want to patron, or corporations, and they see a franchise as a corporation, not really understanding that it's owned by a small local business owner. So this completely kind of overcomes that barrier in a very silent way where you don't have to try to educate people on what is franchising and any of that. It's just this really nice, like, oh, you're definitely local and then they'll be surprised to learn it's actually all over the nation. Well, who knew? Because you have our local beers. I'm here in St. Louis. We have quite a few breweries. We're very close to the Missouri wineries. There is a Missouri wine country. I'm sure it rivals what you have, Damien, in France. I could see that going over really well here with people recognizing, our local craft brewers and wineries on the menu. So that's awesome. So right now, you all are embarking into franchising. Still today, you guys are kind of independent business owners primed to franchise. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Yes. We really spent the last 2, 3 years, I suppose, putting all of the structure and framework in place to get ready to start franchising, putting together our franchise disclosure document, our operations manual, our support infrastructure. We implemented a new POS and appointment management software that's really franchise focused. So we wanted to set everything up so that when we start selling franchises and bringing on franchisees, that we weren't scrambling to put things together. So while we have the 2 corporate owned locations, we just started offering franchise opportunities in a few select states as of January of this year.
Yeah, that is such an exciting time for you all. And I'm sure it's just like anytime you open a new business, right? The excitement outweighs the stress. And then you get a little further down the line and you're like, oh my gosh, we've got franchisees, and it can be a little stressful, but it'll always be very joyful because now you're not only serving your customers and bringing something that fulfills them in a way that the market hasn't done for them, but you can do the same now for entrepreneurs who are looking to build a life outside of a 9 to 5. So that is amazing. Well, like I said, I just love your concept. I know it's going to take off like wildfire. I cannot wait for the location here in St. Louis to pop up because I will be there for sure. And maybe someone listening locally will hear this and raise their hand to bring it here, hopefully. So, well, congratulations, Jessica and Damien. If people do want to check out what you have to offer, maybe even take their own backpacking trip over to Colorado to experience your spa. Is it
Oakwell.com. On
Oakwell?
all of the social media handles, we're Oakwell Beer Spa, but our website is oakwell.com. And then if you're interested in franchise opportunities, it's oakwellfranchise.com.
Okay, great. Well, we will make sure to add those links to the show notes to make it easy for people to find you. And I hope to see you in person again at another conference soon.
Yes, likewise. Thanks so much, April.
Thank you so much, April.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ask April Porter podcast. If you found value in today's episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow franchisees and small business owners. To access the resources I mentioned during this episode, check out our show notes.